It's sports day. I bet a lot of you love sports. I love the sport of soccer. It is so fun to watch, especially when my son is playing. One of the things I love about sports is the competition. It's fun to see two teams compete to try to score the points needed to win the game. Sports are fun to watch unless one team is being unfair. It makes me mad when I see teams cheating or playing dirty. In fact, when I see a team treating another team poorly, I want there to be consequences for the offending team. That's exactly the point of our story today. Our life point is people face the consequences for how they treat others. Our story is about a very rich but foolish man named Nabal. Let's just say Nabal was like the leader of Team 1. Nabal had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. Of course, he had a bunch of shepherds and workers to care for all these animals. Nabal also had a wife named Abigail. Abigail was smart and beautiful. Team 2 was actually led by David. David and his men were kind and helpful. In fact, when Nabal's men and the animals were out of the wilderness, David and his men protected them from anyone or anything that tried to attack them. So Team 2 is making sure that they are playing nice and within the rules with Team 1. And Team 1 is playing nice until one day David asked 10 of his men to go to Nabal and ask for a favor. There was a big feast that David's men wanted to celebrate, but they needed supplies. Remember, Nabal was very wealthy and could spare supplies easily, especially to people who had protected him. But that's not what Nabal did. Nabal refused to give anything to David and his men. He said unkind things about David and turned the men away. Nabal was not playing nice. When the news got to David, he was not happy. He told his men to put on their swords. They were going to fight Nabal. David had about 400 men that went with him. But before they got to Nabal, one of Nabal's helpers told Abigail how Nabal had treated David. The helper told Abigail that David and his men had been kind to Nabal, and Nabal was not. Abigail knew what she needed to do that her husband would not. She gathered 200 loaves of bread, 2 clay jars of wine, 5 butchered sheep, roasted grains, 100 clusters of raisins, 200 cakes of pressed figs. She got a lot. She loaded all this on the donkeys and went to meet David. Abigail bowed down to David and asked David to forgive Nabal's wickedness. David was kind to Abigail, and he promised not to harm Nabal's family. Abigail understood what Nabal did not, that there were consequences for how we treat people. You know, life isn't a game. It isn't about winning. Life is about how we treat others, and when we show the love of God, we all win.